Thank you, Chairman, and thank you both for being here today. Just something I want to correct in I guess, the way we speak and the vocabulary we use. When Mr. Swalwell, Ranking Member Swalwell, says it won't take yes for an answer, a yes answer is giving the documents. A yes answer is not saying, well, we'll meet, we'll talk, we'll use some slick language, no offense, but you're not actually getting the documents. A yes is a yes, a no is a no, and there's a lot of space in between, but that was no yes answer by anybody's imagination. And you also wonder why it came to the point that, you know, Chairman Jordan was asking for all of these documents because, quite frankly, we don't know the answers. We want to know what's really going on. This isn't really complicated. The American people want to know what's going on. I want to know what's going on. This committee wants to know what's going on, in saying that we'll work with you and we'll talk about some things and, you know, it'll take some time, but we're not sure. That doesn't tell us what's going on. So let me just be very candid about that. And, you know, let me talk about this a little bit, though, too. On August 8th, 2022, and I'm sure you all remember the date, federal agents executed an unprecedented, and it was unprecedented, raid on the residence of the former President Donald Trump. Since then, we've seen several current instances of classified documents belonging to our current president, President Biden. And they've been acquired from a number of locations, from Boston to D.C., yet no raids. No heavy media presence, no large team of federal agents digging through all his personal effects, going through his wife's clothing and into her closet and her drawers. None of that. We still have no idea who had access to these classified documents, which is a grave concern considering reports on anonymous donations to China being made to the Penn Biden Center, where some of these documents were found. It's weird. I don't care what anybody says. It doesn't make sense. How is it that the FBI can treat President Trump as a criminal when sending raids of dozens of federal agents there, yet with President Biden, for what would seemingly be a similar issue, there is no sense of urgency? And remember, he had his own secret police there. They had their own people there. Were we afraid of them? Did we think President Trump was going to come out with an Uzi? I don't know why such a show had to be made of it, but it sure was. This is unfair treatment. It's unfair treatment between two citizens, one Republican and one Democrat. You know, as Republicans, we get used to it, but it doesn't mean we like it, and we don't. American people have begun to question trust in federal law enforcement. They have. Don't believe me. Look at every poll that has come out recently. Not the folks working, actually doing the job, but the people at the top, the people who are in administration. American people right now, if you were to ask the average Joe or Jane, they say, man, I don't know. I don't know what to think. I don't know to trust them. If the FBI can go after a former president of the United States, unprecedented as they did, who is to say they couldn't do this to any American? Well, I guess the answer is they could. Attorney General Merrick Garland went after parents and a former president of the United States, yet he failed to investigate individual firebombing of pro-life centers. I guess he doesn't like pro-life centers, but that isn't his job. There were fire bombings there, and we really needed to investigate, and we really needed to protect. He failed to go after BLM. He failed to go after Antifa and the riots in 2020. Is it a coincidence? Is it a coincidence? I think it's intentional. The House Judiciary Committee plays a role in the oversight of ensuring that this current administration is not trampling on the constitutional rights of our American citizens and strongly enforcing the laws on those they see fit. That's why Chairman Jordan is sending subpoenas. He can't get the information. None of us can. Excuse my voice, been doing a lot of talking. So I have questions, and I know I only have a little bit of time, but I'll try to get through the first one. These letters requesting documents and communications relating to the execution of the search were sent in August of 2022, and again in January of this year. So it's not like we only had a day, a week, a month, a year. When will the DOJ, and I want a specific answer, when will the DOJ be providing these documents to this committee?
Congressman, thank you for the question. As I said earlier, you know what guides us in responding
And
to oversight
forgive me
requests.
for 1 second. You don't have to say thank you for the question every time, because I know you don't like a lot of these questions, so you can go right into the answer, at least with me. Go ahead. Thank you.
I appreciate that, Congressman. So, as I said earlier, we are committed to working with the committee to help get them the information they need. But certainly in this instance, as we've referenced previously in letters to the committee, the matter that you're talking about is an ongoing matter. There are a number of ongoing matters at issue there, and protecting the integrity of those investigations is something that is incredibly important to the Department of Justice. Now, we have a long history of working with Congress in those instances to answer their questions, to provide their information, even when there are those ongoing investigations, but we must find a way to do so that protects the integrity of that work. So happy to engage with you and the team, the staff, to find a way to meet that informational need, but there are significant equities at issue in those matters.
I'm going to yield back in a second, but Mr. Uriarty, I'm sorry, I don't agree with you. We can answer these questions, and we can answer them in a timely way. This is not timely, it's not appropriate, and that's why we're at wit's end. I yield back.